stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's Pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Clarence has the invocation.
May we pray? Father in heaven, during this special week of our church year, we give you thanks for another beautiful day in your creation and the plans that you have put in place for us all. We know that your plan has blessed us all in a variety of talents that might be used for the betterment of mankind. Help us as individuals and members of this Rotary Club to maximize those talents and gifts in creative ways that will always be pleasing to you. We remember also today our Rotary Ann, June Wilfon, and we know that you will continue to surround Avery and Jerry and all the family with your love and care during this special time. And now we ask you to bless our food and our fellowship in this time together, that it may all be pleasing to you. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Clarence. And please remain standing for the song of the day.
Give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.
Pretty good. You can take a seat now. Thank you. John, do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Okay. They heard. The word is out. They don't want to be here today. Okay. Let's go ahead then with any guests of Rotarians, which I'm sort of assuming we don't have many, if any, of those today either. Anybody bring a guest for our club assembly? No? Okay. People are listening. That's good to know. Then let's move on to the Rotary moment, please. Clarence, are you doing the Rotary moment for us, Clarence? Thank you.
Excuse me,
We didn't have any introductions, so you don't get a break.
I was trying to work up a program. Save your energy for the rest of the meeting, because you're going to need it. Regarding, I do want to call attention to June Wilfon's service. I think it's Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and I'm sure Avery and Jerry would be most encouraged to see a good representation of Rotarians at that service. So let me encourage you to put that on your calendar at 3 o'clock at Holy Trinity Church. Birthdays this week, according to my information, there was not a single birthday between the period of April 13 and April 19. Now, is that information current, or has someone come into the club that was born during that period? I asked Alan Huffman how that could be, and he said, well, most OBGYNers like him were busy worrying about how they were going to pay their taxes, and they didn't have time to deliver any babies during that. That made good sense to me, and so I accept that. Good news, Rufus Walker, some of you may have seen your email and recognize that Rufus Walker is out of the hospital undergoing rehab, and I think they are very encouraged by his progress, and we look forward to his joining us back at a meeting here soon. Call attention to Walter Hart's message in today's spoke. Great tribute to education in the Hickory system, and also a great tribute to a number of Rotarians who have been providing time and service and energy to help improve the quality of education in this area. So congratulations to those who are working to give us sharp young men and women in the days ahead. Yesterday, I was privileged to attend the 70th anniversary of the United Way celebration, and that's quite impressive also. I know many of you in this club, in this room, have been a part of United Way and part of the great tradition that the United Way has in our community. Probably one of the strongest United Ways in the country. And certainly Michael Blackburn was recognized as an outgoing president, I think. And there were others in the room that are Rotarians. The ones I spotted were Susan Vincent, Walter Hart, Gary Knox, Peter Kendall, Linda Lutz, Clyde Taylor, all with some sort of leadership role currently or in the recent past. And we say congratulations to you guys for that good work. There was a group of guys over at the clubhouse at the golf course the other day standing around, and a cell phone rang, and one of the guys went over and picked it up and turned it on to speaker volume. And on the other end, he said hello, and a woman on the other end said, "Honey, are you at the club?" He said, "Yes." "Honey, I'm at the mall, and I found this beautiful leather coat. It's only $1,000. Is it okay if I buy it?" "Sure, honey. If you like it that much, go ahead and buy it." I also stopped by Mike Johnson's, and he's got the new models in, and I saw one that I liked. "Well, how much?" "Well, $60,000. He said, "Well, for $60,000, go ahead and get it, but I want all the extras on it." Great, great. One more thing, honey. That house we wanted to buy last year is back on the market, and they're asking only $950,000. Well, go ahead and talk to them about it, but just offer them $900,000. "Okay, I'll see you later. I love you." "I love you too." The man hangs up the phone, and the other men in the locker room are now looking at him with amazement. And then he asked, "Does anybody know whose phone that is?" A man walked into a bank in New York City and asked for the loan officer. He says, "I'm going to Europe on business for 2 weeks and I need to borrow $5,000. The bank officer says the bank will need some sort of security for the loan, so the man hands him the keys to his Mercedes SL 500. Car is parked in front of the bank. He has the title and everything checks out, so the bank agrees to loan him $5,000 and uses the car for collateral. The bank's president and all the officers enjoy a good laugh at the man for using a $110,000 automobile as collateral against a $5,000 loan. 2 weeks later, an employee of the bank then proceeds to drive the Benz into the bank's underground parking lot. And 2 weeks later, the man returns. He repays a $5,000 loan with interest, which comes to $15.41. The loan officer says, "Mister, we're very happy to have your business, and this transaction worked out very nicely, but we're a little bit puzzled. While you were away, We checked you out and we found out that you're a multimillionaire. What puzzles us is why would you want to borrow $5,000? The man replies, where else in New York City can I park my car for only 2 weeks for $15.41 and expect it to be there when I get back? Some of you guys in this room I know were around in 1955, and I know some of you came along after 1955. I want to share with you a couple of things that were on the minds of some people who were around in 1955. For example, did you hear that the post office is charging 4 cents just to mail a letter? And they're going to raise the minimum wage to $1. Nobody will be able to hire anybody outside the store to work for them anymore. When I first started driving, who would have thought that gas would cost 25 cents a gallon? I guess we was better off leaving the car in the garage. Did you see where some baseball player just signed a contract for $50,000 a year just to play ball? It wouldn't surprise me if someday they'll be making more than the president. Too bad things are so tough today. I see where a few married women are having to work to make ends meet. And Mike Johnson's thankful for this, I know. I'm afraid Volkswagen is going to open the door to a whole lot of foreign business. Aren't you glad? Thank goodness I won't live to see the day when the government takes half of our income in taxes. I sometimes wonder if we're electing the best people in government. And then for Robert Locke's sake up here, the fast food restaurant is convenient for a quick meal, but in 1955, we didn't think it was going to last. Have a good week.
Thanks, Clarence. That was great. I have a couple of announcements before we proceed with the program. Ray Serta has something to share with us.
Thank you, President Suzanne. I put a couple of flyers on your desk, on your table. They're veterans initiatives, and I'm begging, asking, pleading, beseeching, imploring, anything else. If one of you at the table would take this and post it on a community board near you. These veterans, covers several counties if you look on the side, so a church bulletin board, a restaurant bulletin board, any bulletin board that you can think of, we would greatly appreciate getting the word out. This colorful one ends next Friday, so this one's short fused to get the word out. This one covers the entire year, so we have plenty of time to get the word out, and hopefully veterans can take advantage of these community offerings and help them. And so if you can help us, help them, I would appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Ray. And just for your information, Ray is our veterans or military liaison for our club, so he's keeping us informed. Thanks. Frank Young has something he would like to share with us. Oh, there it is.
Thank you, Madam President. Okay, so we are 3 weeks out from the blood drive. So far we have 11 people signed up from our club. It obviously is going to be something that we're going to have to get the community involved with. So please, I encourage you to find somebody else that may be able to give in your place. But once again, we have to promote our club members that are helping us out here. And so again, this year we have a free oil change for everybody that gives, thanks to Mike Johnson, and we have free crawdads tickets. Thank you, Mark. So show people this. I appreciate your help, and I'll tell you, to be honest, I'm kind of under the gun, a little bit of pressure. These groups that come in, the Blood Cross and community blood centers, they send a lot of resources to us, and so if we have a bad drive, it doesn't reflect well on us, on me of course, but on us as well. So please, if you can, send somebody. Thank you.
Yeah, and
3 weeks, May 8th at St. Luke's.
Thank you. Thanks for the reminder. I'm a person who's not allowed to give for a kind of bizarre reason. lived in Europe at the wrong time, and my blood is no longer any good. So I have to try to find somebody else, and I've tried one person so far, and he said no, so I'm going to have to keep trying. But if people who are not able to give, if you would ask somebody else to give in your stead, that would be great. Thanks. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for our club assembly, and I'm really pleased with the turnout that we have today. What we're going to be working on is a really important process. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate Robert Locke so generously giving up his program slot for today so that we could do this, because it's so important in the process of our club and the leadership as we're moving forward. The strategic plan process is something that is highly promoted and encouraged by Rotary International and by our district. They gave us a format, a suggested idea of how to do it, and we've tweaked it just a little bit, but we're going to follow that. We have used a sort of a plan for the past couple of years with Rotarian Idol and with the Imagination Library as our primary focus, and we're at a point in time where we're going to be reevaluating that, so that's part of what we're doing. I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Lair to go ahead and start us with sort of a state of the club. Really, as in her role as treasurer, it's financial, but to give you an idea of what we have been doing in the past couple of years so that we can take a look at where we want to go from here.
But one of the first things that, can everybody see that? Okay, this is the 5 years that we've been doing Rotarian Idol with income and expense. And it really is interesting as you look at how it's grown over those 5 years. Interestingly enough, on tickets, it kind of appears that the $19,000 to $20,000 is, since it's been that for 5 years, it's amazing how close that is. But now the difference is this year, we had $10 and $20 tickets. So we think we had more people there than we have in past years, and that would stand to reason. You can also tell that our advertising has increased, our sponsors, and we were down just a little bit this year in our income over last year. But if you look at 9, 10, and 10, 11, you can see how that's grown.
Lynn, could you state some of the amounts, because it's a little different for some of us on.
Certainly. Okay, on advertising, we started off with $10,400 in July and have gone up to $24,100. So that's been a significant increase thanks to the Dream Team. Our sponsors, the same thing, and Alan Finley and all the people who have helped with that, we've continued to increase. I had $7,000 in sponsorships. One of the nicest things also is Century Club. All of you who give that $50 each 6 months, that's an additional $11,200. Our audition fees we went down a little bit over the last 2 years, but I think the quality was better. Tickets have been the same in that $19,000 to $20,000, and the first 2 years we had VIP seating and did not do that again. Our audience favorite voting, the biggest difference in that, last year it was $3,015 and this year $1,500. But the reason for that is that we did Click and Pledge last year and we got a lot of money from that. And this year we tried to go with a different online company, and they required 6 weeks beforehand, and we didn't have that much time. So this is just what we collected the night of Rotarian Idol. Our concession stands, and this year Mike Johnson, as you may remember, gave $2,500 toward our first place prize, which was $5,000, and spent $2,500 in the back, in the past. Okay, our prizes have increased from $4,500 the first year to the $7,000 this year, but that's also includes that the $5,000 and the $25,000 from Mike. Audience favorite, we've given that out for the last 2 years, and that's $500. Our rental with Lenore Ryan is really not rental as much as it is the use of their staff, all of their technical staff that do the lights and the sound, we do have to pay for them. So that's exactly what that number is. Our programs, A1 Printing does those, and this year they gave us a $900 credit, and so that was actually $2,949, but Jonathan Waters reduced that amount. Then the rest is just tickets, marketing. Alan Finley has done that and worked with Charter and the TV station. Well, Charter is the TV station, and the radio stations, and then our banners that you see. So this year, our total expenses were $15,000, which is up over the past years, and our net, which you can hardly see down here, is, let's see, okay, our net this year was $53,559, and that is phenomenal. I mean, we can come up with other things that our income can be high, but trying to get your expenses that low is really very, very good. Last year we had $58,750, so we were $570, so we were down just a little bit. But our first 2 years, $35,000 and $44,000, so we've done significantly better. Now the other thing is, where does all this money go? Charitable contributions and scholarships. These are all of the groups that we have given to over the last 5 years. If you remember Brandon's Big Book Project, he was the one who was our ambassadorial scholar. And we sent books over to South Africa where he was for his scholarship at the university there. Catawba County Parenting, this also includes our contributions that were voted on by the board on Tuesday that came from a recommendation from the Education and Charitable Giving Committee. Obviously our Partnership for Children, our Imagination Library, that's been the biggest one, so we've given over the last 4 years $62,000 to them. Catawba Science Center, Family Care. It's interesting that there are landmarks and Hickory Museum of Art. Unfortunately, 1 year we missed that, but that's the Paul Whitener Art Show. Our Internet Interact Advisor at Hickory High. We've given in the past to the IB program at Hickory High. That Lincolnton Sunrise Rotary, that was $1,000 when the young man came and spoke to us about doing a project internationally, and everybody wanted to give to him that day at the meeting, and we did. We went ahead and committed then. We've given to the Little Reed. We do Rotary Youth Leadership Scholarships. That's in the budget also for this year. The Service League has been the backpack program. The Symphony Wheelchair Foundation and our Wilmer Jenkins Teacher Awards. If you'll notice that we have $37,000 this year in our charitable contributions and $24,000 last year. If you remember, last year was when we cut back so that what we make in 1 year, we spend in the next year, which is a very enviable position to be in, to be able to, what we have at June 30 as our net is money that we'll be able to give out next year for charitable contributions, and could start any time in August, September, October, whenever. This past year we've had Rotary Board discretionary contributions that went into the budget, and we've done 3 different gifts with that. One was at Stop Hunger Now, one was
a dental project.
Yeah, the dental.
Governor Ronnie requested support for.
Right, and the Pinky Project.
Pinky Project.
Yes. So that's already come out, and there's additional money there. Our scholarships are the bottom line, and they are decreasing some right now because that counts all 4 years. Plus this year we had one student who did not use her scholarship. She used it her freshman year, but then did not use it for her scholarship. So our total contributions over the past 5 years have been $266,685. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
I think you remember the guys have paid $1,000 every year. You haven't paid this year, but that's for last year. So you will maybe be giving $2,000 this year. But I just want to thank everybody because definitely, and Lynn, you remember that? It came very late.
It did come very late.
So it moved into the next fiscal year. But every year we've given you credit and every year you've given. So thank you very much for 67 years.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Lynn. I really appreciate you doing that because I think that's important information for us to see kind of in a snapshot of what we've been doing for the past 5 years so you know where we're coming from. I wanted to catch you up just a little bit before we move forward with the program about what we have been doing so far with the strategic plan. Back during the last week or two of March, I was recruiting people to serve on this strategic plan task force. Specifically went to the past President's Council to some of the newcomers who had volunteered for doing something like this, put some appeals out during the meetings, which may or may not have been heard. But we have gathered a task force of approximately 15 people who met with us on April the 1st. I'd like for people to stand today, those who have become a part of the strategic planning task force. And what we're going to be doing today is asking these people to disperse themselves amongst the table so that there's at least one representative at each table. It looks like there's a table there in the back that might need a representative if I can get someone to move to that one, and I couldn't really see here in the middle very clearly. We did have our initial meeting and adopted the format that we're going to be starting today. We also have been recruiting some people to help with the survey that we're using to make sure that we're asking the right questions and working on that. We're going to be using the rest of our time today to gather some information from you, and then we're going to use this information that we're gathering from those who are here and also from those who are not here. We're going to take the attendance roster from today, and Bruce Bumbarger has offered to send the survey out via email to the people who are not here today. We'll have some hard copies for the people who don't use email to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to give their input. And anybody who is interested after seeing what we're doing today and participating in joining the task force is welcome to be on the task force. This is not an elite club. It's supposed to, or the task force is not, it's for anybody who wants to do it. So I want to turn the podium over now for just a minute to Mike Johnson to talk about this process.
Thank you, President Suzanne. Okay, so what's the state of the state? Well, when I was president of this club, we had 220 members or something. We now have 144. How come? Where'd they go? Are we okay with being a club of 144? I can tell you for District 7670, we had 144. We're a big club. We okay with that? We will go back to 200 something. There's 144 in the roster today, and there's about 70 in this room. Where's the other 70 members? At the beach. So these are the kind of things we need your input for. The strategic, we have not done a strategic plan as this club in many, many, many years. And it's not just our club. It's Rotary International. It's Rotary in North Carolina. It's Rotary in the United States. As a lot of service clubs are having to rethink their strategic plan. And we do too. President Lynn just outlined, I've roughly counted 37-something charities that we gave to. Do we want to continue to do that? Or do we want to pick one or two? I don't know. We meet on Thursdays at the country club. Should we offer another meeting on Monday afternoons? Should we do like some churches do and have a traditional service at 8, a contemporary service at 10, another traditional at 11, and a Saturday night service? Or do we not want to have church on Saturday night? I don't know. We need your input. It's really important that we hear from all of you. And I'm sure all of you come to meetings and leave and see Rotarians around town, and you talk and you say, you know, I don't like Idle. Or man, what a great job we did with Idle. Or how great how come we can't do a $100,000 fundraiser like we used to? We need your input. What do you like? What should we think about changing? What should our strategic plan be? Do we need more young members? Do we need more Robert Locks? How do we get them? Why aren't they here? We don't have those answers, and it shouldn't be a few of us that make that decision. It should be all of us. Do you like selling tickets? Do you not mind selling? Do you hate selling? I don't know. We need your input very, very badly. We want to try to hear from all 144 if possible. So those of you who are here, thank you for being here. Your survey's on your table. Please fill them out before you leave so we can get your input. Then we plan to email all the people that aren't here, and hopefully we can get their input too. So with no further ado, when available, if you could fill out those surveys and get them back to us today, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate your help. Guy is going to actually explain a little bit about the surveys before we get started, so I'm going to turn the podium over to Guy now.
Thanks, Madam President. There is no perfect survey, and this one is not perfect, but it's a great start for us. And I just wanted to go through it and answer any questions you may have, because I was sitting at the table, we had some questions already. I think the toughest question is probably the very first question as it pertains to a challenge with the four-way test for some of you, is just my age. Somebody complained there was only two choices by my gender. And it was Kathy, the one who's laughing the hardest.
Seemed limiting.
I joined Rotary, and the most unique answer I've gotten so far is, Alan, I'm going to throw you. You've been thrown under the bus twice today. But Neil Brandenburg, who was his partner, asked him, he said, "You'll enjoy it. You'll get to talk to men." He's a retired OBGYN, for those of you who don't know. So that's kind of been diluted. So going through the, and then why do you stay in Rotary? That's a great question to ask yourself. The rest of the questions, some match the format. If you really agree or you like what we're doing in each category, then rate it as excellent. And if you have problems with it, insufficient. Not every question kind of matches up with that format, but do your best. Time management at weekly meetings, that's easy. I know to me, Suzanne's done a great job this year with that. When I was president the first go-round, I knew when it was time to end when the Milhollands got up to go back to the paper. Well, they got up today as if on cue, but it was a little earlier than typical. It was like 1:10 they used to get up. So, do we have enough networking opportunities? Because that's important. It's a two-way street in Rotary. It's a service above self, but it's also a professional organization where like-minded professionals in different walks of life and vocations get together and exchange ideas. So do we do enough in that area, and so on. On the back, you've got, and this may take you a little bit more time, and you may need to take this home, just some of our club's strengths and weaknesses in your mind, what those may be. What do you think some of our challenges are? And then below that, where do we want to be? That's really a question of what do you think our opportunities are? So, what are our strengths, weaknesses, and what are our challenges, and really what are our opportunities? And then the last bit too, and some of this stuff would be better served if we could do as a group, do a, kind of facilitate a discussion around the strengths and weaknesses, and as well as the vision, create a vision statement. But there are some prompts under vision statement. For those of you who will take the time to fill that out, we will use your ideas to work towards a vision statement for this club. So some of the questions are just prompts. How do you want to be recognized? I know one of the examples I gave at my table, you see the billboards, you've got a picture of a female professional on the billboard saying, teacher, mother, polio eradicator. It can be something that simple. So how do you want us to see ourselves, and how do you want the world to see us in terms of what we do? People are going to see us and judge us by what we get accomplished in our community and in the world for Rotary. So anybody have any questions? Deborah?
Scott, if they don't want to fill it out today, who do they give it to?
Well, they can bring it back next week to the club meeting, I would assume. Of course, they could always mail it to the Rotary P.O. box, but, yeah, there are different options for that. Go ahead.
Can they just email it? Can Stan just email it to everybody along instead of specific people?
I'm going to let Suzanne answer these questions.
Thanks. You're asking good questions, and obviously we're trying to kind of get this ball rolling and make things go as quickly as possible. There's a tension between doing it quickly and giving it a lot of time, trying to split the difference. What I would suggest that we do today in terms of housekeeping is I'm going to ask everybody to please stay until 1 o'clock. So, and talk amongst yourselves at your table, ask questions of your facilitator. I would appreciate it if you would turn these in when you leave today. If you feel like you're not finished, what we can do, we're already planning on emailing the surveys to people who are not here. We can just email them to everybody. And you can have another shot at it. If you want to take more time with it, then you can do more work on it on your own over the computer as a Word document and send it back to us. I'm also going to invite anybody who wants to stay longer than 1 o'clock today to stay. I have asked the task force committee members to stay so that we can make some next steps about what we're going to do with collating this information. Anybody who's not on the task force is welcome to stay as well. Anyone is welcome to join us on Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the Moretz boardroom at the Salt Block to continue the process too. So you're not limited by the 1 o'clock deadline today, but I would like to have as many pieces of paper by 1 o'clock today because my experience tells me that if we don't get them, then we won't get them. So I want to have something by the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the tables for the next 10 minutes, and then I'll go through the process of closing the meeting at 1 o'clock, but everyone is welcome to stay longer if they would like to. Yes, Jennifer.
Will you explain the importance of putting down the age? Some people may be uncomfortable putting a specific age, so explain why you want to.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jennifer. And I mean, truly, the demographic information, sometimes people are reluctant to give that demographic information. It's just something that helps us. We hope it will help us to see, to give us more information about what we're working with. So we would really appreciate that information, but if you feel compelled to leave it blank, that's okay too. Excuse me? Yeah, and
That's a good point.
there's no name on it. There are a few of us it's going to be obvious because there aren't a whole lot of women if you break it down by age, But I hope that we can be open and honest enough to say what we think, and we're not judging each other here. We're trying to gather good information, so we'd appreciate that if you would identify yourself.
Just to add to that a little bit, the strategic planning team that met before, what they're really interested in is, how many female Rotarians participated in IDLE? Was the majority of the IDLE tickets sold by men? Were the majority of the tickets sold by men over 50? Do the majority of members who come to Thursday's meeting, are they male? Are they female? Or just some of that kind of stuff. So we could use that to determine if we want to do something about growing membership, what are we looking for? Are we looking for elderly women or young men or something in between all that? So I think that was the talk amongst the strategic plan, why we put some of that demographic stuff in there. But obviously if you're not comfortable answering it, don't answer it.
Anything else? Okay, get to work.
My. Robert, you put the trophies and pizza party in high school.
Well, so they said, yes, some of our surveys are going to be obvious who they are.
Oh, pizza and ice cream.
Yeah.
But you're right. Some of these
Yeah.
I think Rusty was taking some.
He's got it.
No, we're not going to do that. Does anybody else need a pen?
Precursor of what actually needs to get answered. Just talking out loud. Thinking out loud. Looking at years, just trying to get that. I think if you recognize history.
I believe so.
Sit there and take all of it. Yeah, I was going to say that.
I guess I think of stuff you mentioned once a year. I guess I want that, as a result of that.
Not recognition, thanks or appreciation, but as a reputation for being somebody, being a group that people can go to and
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's a say, which is great too. But I think what you're saying is
why are these
It'd be nice if they recognize having fun doing it. I think that attract young
I mean, we eventually, that's what we want. It'd be nice if we have one of these. I know y'all talk about it. Just some charts.
Just need somebody to do that.
Yeah, and have kids, there you go.
Everybody needs to have people on our side. That's an opportunity.
social media. Sitting down together. Get online and have a meeting with one another.
It's just exciting.
30, not the general.
I hate to interrupt. I said I would wrap up at 1, and I want to honor that commitment. I certainly want to invite you to continue to stay and talk for as long as you would like. David, did you have something to say?
Yeah, just one thing. The meeting today is being videoed, thanks to Jennifer. And we're going to try to do this it's just this is a pilot, I guess. But we want a way to eventually where you be able to film that every week, and then if you need to make up, you can go to that YouTube or however you want to do it on the website, and you can actually see the program that we had here instead of going on RI and seeing something about a well and having to do something like that. So look for that. If everything works good, she'll convert it to a YouTube video, and then it'll be on the website where you get a link, and you should be able to see it. And we had a curveball because we had to switch over to the screen, but nice job. And so anyway, look for that.
Thanks for mentioning that, David. I meant to comment that Jennifer was doing that, and I got distracted by some shiny things, so I didn't do that. Let's go ahead and have the Service Above Self Scholarship raffle.
You have 34 tickets, 1 joker, and the balance, we collected $83 today with a balance of $1,382.
And the winning ticket today is 744-7488. And it's mine, and I pulled it out, and I don't feel too comfortable with that, so. Well, I already get a free lunch. Let's let Robert go another try.
If I pull mine, then we just stop.
The winning ticket is 744-7497.
Okay, Mr. Serta.
First time. You said 7497.
Free lunch. Thanks a lot. So, next week, regular meeting. Please be generous with your contributions to the cart buckets, online makeup instructions, as well as hopefully our video of this meeting will be on the website. Please rise for the four-way test. As Rotarians, of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?